Brought to you by Penguin.
Are You Happy Now? By Hanna Jameson. Read by Shen. Yoon and Emory. In The Goldfinch, Donna Tartt wrote, "But depression wasn't the word. This was a plunge encompassing sorrow and revulsion far beyond the personal, a sick, drenching nausea at all humanity and human endeavor from the dawn of time." Chapter 1. Boy meets girl at a wedding and the world ends. The classic meet-cute. Yoon's memories of the wedding were malleable, different parts of that night in late April shifting into brighter and greater significance, like raking through colored sand. The DJ wore a red baseball cap and ill-fitting blazer and started his set with a drinking game to Roxanne. Whenever Sting sang Roxanne, all the women took a drink. Whenever he sang Put on the Red Light, all the men took a drink. It was an efficient strategy. Got everyone the maximum amount of drunk in the minimum amount of time. Over the DJ's incessant hollering and grainy speakers, Yoon caught snatches of conversation at the next table, between three guys he vaguely remembered from NYU. Yeah, that's the dream though, isn't it?" one of them said. "Just take the consultancy money and fuck off to, Taiwan for a year. Get tan, teach English for 4 hours a day and bang foreign girls." The only other person Yoon knew well at this thing was his best friend, Andrew Zhou, who looked about as immaculate as one would expect from the only son of a wealthy Chinese-Canadian family. He was over by the bar arguing with his wife, both of them adopting the low, strained voices of people who had been together too long. Yoon couldn't blame her for wanting to leave early. The only reason he and Andrew used to get on with Mike Ellison, who was already cataclysmically wasted along with his bride, was because he always had a steady and shareable supply of pot. Mike's friends from economics had mostly seemed like budding serial killers, or, at the very least, flag-waving white nationalists waiting to happen. From what Yoon could tell, they mostly spent their studies presenting graphs explaining why the majority of people in the world deserved to starve, actually. He had a joint in his pocket, but he wasn't planning to go outside and smoke it unless the night became truly unbearable. He looked at his phone, then cast his eyes about, noticing some older relatives talking to each other, a few younger women scattered around the room who seemed forlorn. It was 10 p.m., and heels were already being taken off on the dance floor. A lot of the charm of weddings is in their clichés. The house lights were a little too bright, giving the venue a warehouse aesthetic. There was even a chocolate fountain. Yoon grimaced as the DJ yelled, "Ladies, make some noise!" But he also acknowledged that people like him, single people conspicuously refusing to enjoy themselves, as well as the couples having quiet altercations, were as much of a cliché as the rest of it. A microcosm of happy ignorance, like a scene in a snow globe. Another eruption of obnoxious laughter from the next table. Waiting staff started to clear dessert plates and empty glasses while the DJ messed up a transition, moving from one song to another with halts and gaps, which he tried to cover with a, "We all feeling good tonight?" Scrolling through the news cycle on his phone, restraining his displeasure to a slight shake of the head, Yoon glanced at the dance floor and saw her looking at him. She was wearing a dress the color of peaches, slow dancing with Lara, the bride, who was leaning against her shoulder in a delighted, drunken haze. Maybe she hadn't been looking at Yoon at all, and they just happened to catch each other's eyes. Maybe he was flattering himself to think about it that way. But the way he remembered it, she was already smiling. He looked back at his phone, but he wasn't seeing it. When his gaze flicked back up, she wasn't looking at him anymore. Lara was saying something and she laughed.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?